Oh, g'day everybody, and welcome back to Between the Stars. Now, it's been a long time since I filmed episode 3. This is episode 4 of this, and the reason was because after episode 3, I went to film episode 4, and my save file was corrupted, so I had lost all of my progress, which wasn't much progress at all. What I did after that was I went to I came back into the game, and I got myself relatively up to the position that we were in at the end of episode 3 before those save files corrupted. And then I decided, okay, well maybe I'll hold off a little bit on continuing this series, and until some updates have been done and stuff like that. Now, this game has had a lot of updates since then, because that was a considerable amount of time ago when I first started my YouTube. So what I thought we might do now is start another episode. So, for those of you that haven't watched any of the previous episodes, this is number 4, and this ship here is the Bukowski, and welcome to the Bukowski. So let's head off and continue our adventures in Between the Stars. For anybody who hasn't watched or seen any gameplay of Between the Stars, it is a relatively text-rich kind of a game. So there are those moments there where we are reading through a lot of text. So I don't skip over any of that because a lot of it's to do with storyline, and it is pretty interesting as well. So the first thing that we're going to do here is we are going to investigate the remains of the warship Genesis. Now that is, if we go into here in our tasks, the Genesis main mission, once you arrive at sector Tuchko, a strange signal shows up on your control panel. After prying at it more closely, you identify the source. The warship Genesis was one of the most famous ships of the Interstellar Republic, piloted by Captain Scott and her crew. Everyone assumed that she fell in combat during an attack on their headquarters, but you hoped it was a mere rumour. So we are doing this objective, and we are heading over to investigate the remains of the warship Genesis. We have 2 other tasks on there, which, if I go back into here, are to the rescue. We have one of our crew members in the previous. I don't think it happened in the previous episode, but it happened when I was working myself up to here. He was kidnapped, so we need to go and rescue that crew member. Alright, so these are events that come up. You enter your cabin and press the switch that turns on the lights, but nothing happens. After trying a couple more times, you conclude that it is fried, and you go down to the cargo hold for a new fuse. You search through chests, promising yourself that as soon as you see the crew, you'll complain to them about the disarray. You've already looked at a couple of them when you're surprised by a noise in the hall parallel to the one you're in. So you have a couple of options here. Honestly, I don't care. You can ignore it, or you check out what's happening. So we'll check out what's happening. You fold the huge bookcase to peek into the aisle, and you can't believe what you see. Supported one above the other, a crew member Wang and Barod kissing. You've been very clear in the past. Personal relationships between the crew are completely prohibited. You need the members of your team with a cool head and no personal distractions. Because we are, after all, on a warship. When I played previously, and I'm not sure whether this has been fixed in all of the patches and all of the updates that they've done, but they were always getting these names wrong. So we've got Wang and we've got Barod there. So they've at least got that right. What do you think you're doing? Or let them be? I think I'm going to pull them up. Excuse me. I think I'm going to pull them up on it. They both turn around, shocked by your shout. Barod, Captain, what a surprise to see you here at this hour. Wang was helping me with the inventory. Do you think I'm stupid? You know this is against the crew's law, or I'll act as if nothing happened this once. So this sort of determines whether or not, or what type of a captain we are, whether we're a stern by the book captain, or whether sometimes we can sort of, turn a bit of a blind eye to stuff. So I think we might... I was originally playing, I think, as quite a stern by-the-book captain to keep everything happening. So I might give them a little bit of a warning here, and I'll act as if nothing happened this once. So we might go a little bit of a softer approach this time. You stealthily leave the cargo hold. You know it's against the rules, but you can't blame them. Since the beginning of the war, they've been forced to face death day in and day out as well. Who are you to deny them the consolation of a lover? As long as their behaviour in the posts is adequate, there will be no problem. So I've gained a new attribute, which is permissive, and that reduces my leadership by 1 level. Take the spare part and go back to the cabin. All right, we shall continue on. Now, you do get pulled up a lot. I'm not sure whether it's changed. There we go. I've actually leveled up there, so we could probably go back into here. Here are our crew members. This is the systems that we have on our ship at the moment, just to catch up. We've got a light plasma cannon Mark II and another one over there. We have a laser interceptor, which our scientists built. Another laser interceptor there. An Eon reactor, which gives plus 12.5 to the engine power. We've got a cannon of the Republic and a light plasma cannon and a guided missile launcher over there. Now, from memory, that was actually a pretty good setup. I really liked the light plasma cannons, and I liked the cannon, but these light plasma cannons were probably my most favourite. So let's go into crew members. And here we are. We are Captain Castasia Cruz. We are currently level 3, and we have an available upgrade point. So we have Charisma, the capacity to charm others, friendly or otherwise. The capacity to anticipate dangerous situations is our aptitude. Leadership, the capacity to lead your crew. And luck. Luck can be a determining factor in some situations. These are our current stats. We're a bargainer, reckless, old school, light weapons, defective ammo, reduces the damage of the impacts on the hull, and permissive. And these are results. All these are results of decisions that we have made as we've gone through different situations in the game so far. Now, I'm going to explain a fair bit of this in this first episode. But as we move on through the episodes, I will stop explaining it anyway, and we can continue on with some decent gameplay. So I think what we might do is we might add another point to our leadership there. We don't have anybody else with upgrade points at the moment. As you can see, we've got 2 specialists, we've got 4 engineers and 2 scientists on board at the moment, and none of those are actually ready for an upgrade. So which I have been upgrading them as we've gone. All right, lovely. We've got different departments here. We've got an engineering workshop where we can, as we gather resources, which we have resources up here, we can continue to create different weapons and stuff. We have a research lab for researching any items that we might find that require research, and a sick bay for any crew members that get injured during combat. And that does happen. It happens when we're fighting in our ship, and it also happens when we go out and do missions off ship, so say boarding another ship to investigate something. So let's get back here. Let us back in the Bukowski, and we shall head over to the Genesis. Let's fire up the engines. And once we get a little bit closer, we will go out of that, because I do like going out of that. We will change the balance down in the bottom right hand corner of our engine, weapon and shield power. I like to have a little bit of a balance like that when I'm going into an area where I think I'm going to get into combat. And that can be changed on the fly as you go, so that's all right. We have a spacebar here to boost.
These look like the remains of a ship, Captain.
This isn't the debris of just any ship. These are the remains of Captain Scott's flagship, the Genesis.
Lovely. So,
I'm sorry, Captain. We know how much you admired her.
Scott was the captain in charge of my training during my years as a recruit. I owe her a great deal of who I am today. She didn't deserve an end like that, at the hands of her own allies. Prepare the life support equipment. We're going in.
On your order.
All right, that's awesome. So that stuff has been added as well. There was little snippets of it previously, but yeah, it's awesome to have that in it now. I really did enjoy this game when I started playing it. It was the fact that the save file corrupted. I thought I'd give it a little bit of time. So, a deep sorrow invades you as you board the ship. Now, this captain who was the captain of this ship was our captain's mentor and hero, basically. So that's where that reference comes from. That piece of junk barely reminded you of what Genesis once was. You had been lucky enough to train on that ship many years ago. In your time as a recruit, you had been able to see for yourself what the ship and its crew were capable of. Jane Scott had not only been the captain in charge of your instruction, after years of service with continuous success in battle, and after winning the admiration of each of the captains of the Republic, she seemed undoubtedly the right person to put herself in charge of the army, ceding it to one of her most trusted crew members. No soldier could believe it when the news became known that she had rejected the post, ceding it to one of her most trusted crew members, Admiral Shao. Okay, so if we are heading towards the command bridge, we should be able to find some information in the command bridge of what actually happened to the ship. But we also probably want to search the ship to see if we can find anything interesting there. As you can see down the side, I think these are the crew members that will come with us on this shipboarding. So we shall search the ship. You follow the clear path without finding anything important. The state of the ship is catastrophic. You had done well to deploy the appropriate machinery for boarding, because re-establishing a flow of energy, even if it was external, would require days of work. Since you cannot access the black box on the bridge, there was only one other solution. It is possible but exceptionally difficult. In theory, if you could access the Genesis's MI, which is the artificial intelligence, you could recover some of the data and back it up to your ship's MI to find out exactly what happened. So we can consult with our scientists to ask if it's possible, or we just say we must try and just try anyway. But I think it's probably a good idea to put a little bit of reliability on our scientists and give them the trust to at least give us an idea on what they think. Scientist Wang: it's theoretically possible, Captain. The only concern is the state of the MI system's core. If it weren't so badly damaged, we could easily do the data transfer. Despite that, there is a possibility that we could corrupt our own system. It will take some time for the scientific team to connect the systems without generating fatal errors. Okay, so we have that option there where we must try again, and we have an option where it's too risky, so let's try to access the bridge. Now, these decisions can probably make for certain changes and certain situations later on in the game, because I already have made decisions that are doing that. I'm not sure whether if we select it's too risky, let's try to access the bridge, whether we actually lose the opportunity to do this, but I would like to try and access the bridge first before I actually put my system in jeopardy. So we're going to do that. Though many of the captains questioned her motives, you, who had had the honour of knowing her up close, understood perfectly. She was a true woman of action, an adventurous soldier who smiled defiantly every time she faced death. Being an admiral of the Interstellar Republic, to spend the rest of her life going to the Council and mediating between interplanetary conflicts was not meant for her. The bridge was located on the upper deck of the ship, which is difficult to access. With the ship in that state, the elevators would not work, so the only possible route to there would be through the stairs. Now, I'm guessing that the gravity system on the ship is probably still working. The path would not be easy. The big explosion that had occurred had left systems completely useless, which would mean having to force the opening of several gates and avoid all the routes blocked by the rubble. So this is where we come into roll dice here. I'll leave it in your hands, engineers. So system upgrade 6+. We've got 3 dice to roll, and I'll explain this as we go. 3 dice to roll, and what we need to do to be successful is to roll the dice and get 6 or more, which is what the 6+ was. So let's roll the dice. And we have succeeded there because we have got 10. Your cruise level assist... Oh no, hang on, we didn't. Okay. It did say that we were supposed to get 6+, which is unless one die was supposed to have 6 on it. So, as again, it's been so long since I've played the game. You're moving as fast as you can through the ship. In one of the access points blocked by the rubble, you manage to create a small tunnel through which you fit one by one. The tunnel seems sturdy enough until it suddenly comes down on one of your crew trying to pass through it. The rubble falls onto the tunnel, collapsing on the crew member's head. Okay, so there's 2 wounded there. Let's keep moving forward. And here we go. Investigation 8+, and system upgrade. Advancing through the corridors of the ship is slow and tedious. Engineers attempt to draw plans and schematics to try and accomplish a safe and common route for the rest of the team. You cautiously move through the remains of the Genesis until you meet the main bridge. Okay, so we have 2 options here. Prepare the machinery. We must open the gate, or we'll try and build a power bridge to re-establish the system. They're both 8+. In this option we get 3 dice, so we might go for that, I think. A 9? Is that a 9? Yes, it's a 9, which means we should be successful. There we go. Your cruise system upgrade level allows you to succeed. You put the devices in place and turn the machinery on. With a bit of luck, the pressure should cause the stoppers to release, allowing you to open it. You cover your ears in preparation and activate the devices. Within a few seconds, enough pressure is deployed to force the door open and give you access through it. Enter and search the bridge. So we got through there. We have injured, had 2 wounded, so that's a bit of a problem. The interior doesn't seem much better than the rest of the ship's hull. Most of the terminals are completely useless. Most of the screens have been shattered into thousands of pieces. You relentlessly search the bridge but find nothing. The black box has completely disappeared. Okay, so we've got, looks like that's not all that's missing, and it's time to go. We must relay this to the Vice Admiral Flynn. What else is missing? You're obviously right, the black box was a mystery, but that was what was even more disturbing is that there has been no sign of Captain Scott's body. All along the ship you'd seen the bodies of multiple crew who had died in combat. In other rooms you had simply found the hull torn, assuming complete decompression of the room, causing someone inside to be violently jettisoned. This was very difficult. Despite the damage to the bridge, it was clear from the debris that the bridge had not been depressurized. So we have gained a new attribute, which is a positive attribute, which is observant. It's time to go. We must relay this to the Vice Admiral Flynn. You leave the ship, but not before attaching one of your trackers to the ship's hull. As soon as you relay your findings to Vice Admiral Flynn, the Republic will try to recover what's left of the Genesis. After all, it had been the flagship of the Republic for decades.
I still can't believe it. The Genesis was the most powerful ship of the Republic. I'm surprised that the Children of the Sun were able to destroy it.
Nartas's ships outnumbered our ships by a wide margin, Captain. The probability of success was extremely low. I'm sure that Captain Scott knew it.
Mai, set a course to the General Headquarters. We'll inform Admiral Flynn of the situation after the War Council. We won't abandon Scott's ship as if it were space trash.
It does sound a little bit personal, doesn't it? So now we've got to go to the Council of War and attend the War Council called by Vice Admiral Flynn in Rukigi. But for now, what we might do now is we might actually... we do need to look at our ship's stats, but we might actually head towards... we're going to Rukigi anyway, because we need to head towards the kidnapped crew member. So we will click on that and we shall jump there. It's a pretty nice looking loading screen there. Okay, we are back. We are in Rikigi.
Greetings, Captain. I hope you didn't have any setbacks on your journey here.
All of our missions have setbacks, sir. In fact, I must speak with you in private.
The War Council will be held in a few hours. Whatever it is, we'll have to wait. Land immediately and take care of everything before the Council.
At your disposal, Admiral.
Okay, so we have some orders there, but what have we got? Council of War down there, suspicious activity. Allied station over there, which is, and distress signal over there, which we can investigate, and suspicious activity. So what we want to do is let's go into our inventory there. We will have a look at crew members. I'm not sure what crew these two crew members here are injured. So if we go to departments and we go to scrapping sick bay, we do need to throw John Rogers in the sick bay and Marta Silva and Olga Sokolov in there as well. I don't know why it's showing. It shows his health status as 3 of 3. It says the crew member is incapacitated and that cannot participate in events. A severe stage caused by the immune system against an unknown infection. Peter Young is the guy that is part of the mission for the antidote. So what we want to do is we want to go and recover this crew member. So we will do that. We will do the antidote and then we will head to the Council of War. So we will select that as the objective. Follow the clue and find him. Alright. Lovely. So I think suspicious activity is probably... Yeah, I reckon this one over here. Let's head over here and see what we can find. It's the lighting in this game. It is a very, very good looking game, to be honest. Let me have a look at the map. Let's see. I can't remember exactly how to get a better view. I don't think we can get a better view. So I might be wrong and I will have to check into that. So let's head over to here. Let's aim towards that. And we will reduce a bit of distance there, so might put a little bit more into the engine to pick up a little bit of speed. So make that adjustment there.
Seriously? Another interception?
Here we go.
Activate the shields! All hands to battle stations!
I think they must have, so we can hold down our, here we go. We'll just get into battle, we'll do this. Change our systems. Now I think from memory it's holding down the right mouse button to scan a ship and find out where its weaknesses are. And you can see the weakness on this ship is at the front, so we will try and hit it on the front. There we go. Oh, we hit that. We hit that. Alright, so we will right mouse button on that one as well and scan it. And the center of the ship is the weak spot on here, so we'll try and hit it on the center. Our guns have... There we go. Okay.
Excellent work, team. Are you all okay?
Now I'm pretty sure that the reference there to, oh, not another intercept, would have been the... Okay, would have been to the reference to the fact that I think people might have been complaining because when the game originally came out, you couldn't go like 2 feet in space without being intercepted all the time. You are running a combat simulation to train your crew. The onboard computer has prepared a simulated battle against the children of the sun. The scenario isn't looking too good. We are alone against 3 powerful children ships. The tension on the bridge is palpable, and all crew members do what they can to defeat the enemy, but you finally succumb to a direct impact on the engines that destroys your ship. You speak with your crew members. Okay, so I'm guessing that this the scenario isn't looking good. Alone against 3, tension of the bridge is palpable. Everybody does what they can. Alright, so one of these will actually probably increase the training in certain areas on some of these guys. So I think we might focus on firing quickly or focus on aiming rather than say good work, because we need to be that stern captain. Let's focus on aiming, I think. Alright, if this would have been our ship, it would have been destroyed and our bodies would be floating in the void, or worse yet, captured by the children of the sun. You need to line up your shots perfectly before firing. We can't waste energy on inaccurate shots. We've finished today's training. So we've gained a new attribute, which is strategist, which gives us more accuracy, but we shoot slower. So we shall accept that. And again, that'll come into play in battles. Now, as you can see, we can actually click on this ship and we can loot the ship, basically. So let's do that. Oops. And where is the other one? The other one is here somewhere. We need to find the other destroyed ship. There she is down there. And we will loot that one as well. Alright, lovely. Let's continue on our way. We will actually, before we continue on our way too fast, we will just quickly jump in here and look in our scrap. So we've got a hacking drone and space garbage, so we'll add that to scrap. We will put it all in and we will accept that. I'm assuming that we could have the hacking drone on our ship perhaps, or otherwise we can scrap it for components. So I think we might scrap it for components. Let's see how our crew members are doing. One of our crew members has come out of the sick bay already. The other 2 are still recovering. So excellent. Lovely. Let's continue on here down to this suspicious activity, and we'll try and get this done for the before the end of the episode. So might just give ourselves a little bit of a boost there. I do remember that the intercepts were quite frustrating when I was playing my initial playthrough of this. So looks like we've got 2 ships just up here by the looks of it. Just over there. Something's going on. See if we can boost again. We're only sort of 8 kilometers out, so we should be alright. So all in all, this is quite an appealing game. That the entire story and stuff looks like it's going to be absolutely brilliant, and it's that type of stuff that I really like in a game, and I do love the old space game as well. So now let's see, what have we got? Alright, as soon as you arrive in the area, you can distinguish a merchant freighter surrounded by a few pirate ships. Everything indicates that the distress signal comes from him. Without having much time to think, they start to open fire against the ship.
Activate the weapons. All crew to battle stations.
Let's see if we can scan these while we're on our way. There we go. Come on. You can do it. You can do it. Okay. Now, I'm obviously not doing too well on the old... There we go. Come on. The scanning accuracy has been reduced considerably. The center of his ship is the one to get there. There we go, our missiles just hit. Beautiful. And he is down.
One of the enemy ships has been destroyed!
Where's this next guy gone now? Here he is over here. Oh no, the merchant has been destroyed. Oh, that sucks. We didn't manage to save it. Okay. It certainly seems a little more fluid this time round.
Great job, crew. We did it.
Okay, what do we got on there? Damage plate, plate remains, bulletproof vest, which comes into play when we go into hand-to-hand combat, synthetic mine sight, protonite, and some credits, so we'll grab those. I'm a little bit disappointed that we didn't manage to save the merchant ship, unfortunately, but alright, where's this other ship? Where are you? I've got to find him, which is the other one that we destroyed, basically. There he is. Okay, that would be the merchant ship there, I am guessing. Now, I'm not sure how many other ships they have added to the game at this point in time. I probably really should have had a look before I started this series, but where is it? Where is that other ship? Down there. Here we go. Another event. You descend on the ship's dining room full of energy. Despite everything that's just happened over the past few weeks, you were feeling exceptionally well. For the first time in a while, the hours of sleep had become especially restorative. You enter the room with a spring in your step. Inside, some of the crew say hi, whilst Rogers is serving the trays with the rations. Surprised, you stare at the dish of dehydrated protein that looks much better than usual. It's probably due to hunger, but as soon as you swallow the first spoonful, you can feel a clear improvement in the taste. Have we changed the dehydrated proteins? Congratulations, Rogers. It's the first time the proteins don't taste like cardboard, or you keep quiet. There we go. Okay, Rogers is a bit surprised. We've changed the protein brand, Captain. There were none of the usual brand left in the last warehouse, Sokolov, and I visited when resupplying the ship. We thought it wouldn't make much of a difference, but I'm glad you like them. So we've gained a new attribute, which is fullness, which will help us with our decisions. From now on, I think we'll buy these. You catch yourself grabbing seconds. Food on a warship was not meant to be exceptionally good beyond providing all the necessary nutrients. Finding a non-perishable food source that also had more taste than wet paper had been a great find. As the crew speaks, you stay thoughtful until Sokolov addresses you, returning you back to reality. What is that, Captain? You look towards the direction Sokolov is looking at, and you see the ancient tablet that you rescued from the abandoned ship just a few days ago on the table. Maybe one of your crew members could clarify what it was. I took it from the looter ship, thought it might be valuable. Do any of you know what it is exactly? So the crew shrugs. Crew member Rogers. I have no idea where it may have come from, but I know someone who might. An old partner of mine runs an antique shop in a Fort Malady. Maybe he could lend a hand. Well, that's handy. That got you curious. The tablet itself was not particularly remarkable, apart from its engravings and ancient appearance, but there was the possibility that it was much more valuable than it seemed. If it was some lost treasure worth a fortune, it wouldn't hurt to know. Okay, we'll make a visit. Excellent. Alright, so it's just the ship's over here. There it is. We'll go and loot this ship, guys, and then we'll call this one an episode. It's been a little bit drawn out, just purely due to me explaining the situation with why I'm sort of restarting this series, but restarting it at this point. So It is an absolutely brilliant game worth looking at if you do like this type of game. If you do like the whole idea of some die roll to ascertain results in some hand-to-hand battles and some decisions you make. And you like something that's very story orientated. So for now, I'm going to leave this here, and I will see you in the next episode of Between the Stars. So thanks for watching. If you like this, hit like, and please subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. I will see you later. Thank you.